McKinsey just laid off 200 of their own consultants. Stop and think about that for a second. McKinsey is the firm that gets paid $5,000 an hour to walk into other people's businesses and tell them how to handle change. They are the experts on disruption. They've written the playbooks. They've literally trained two generations of corporate America, and they couldn't figure out how to keep their own people employed. This is not a McKinsey story. This is the canary in the coal mine for an entire industry. And it tells you exactly what's about to happen to every consultant, every coach, every advisor still operating on a model built in 1990. Today, I'm going to show you what's broken, what's replacing it, and why. If you have a sales background, this might be the best thing that's ever happened to you. McKinsey isn't alone. The Big Four advisory firms have been quietly trimming junior hiring all year. Deloitte's been pulling back, Accenture restructured, boutique strategy shops are folding into AI implementation firms or disappearing. The pattern is this: the higher up the consulting food chain you go, the more your deliverable looks like a PowerPoint deck, and the more your deliverable looks like a PowerPoint deck, the more a large language model can produce it for free in 30 seconds. GPT 5.5. Which came out last month and is now the default model inside ChatGPT, can draft a McKinsey quality strategy deck for a mid-market client in the time it takes you to refill your coffee. Anthropic's Claude can audit a company's operations from the org chart and produce a transformation roadmap that 6 years ago would have cost the client $300,000. Every CEO with an OpenAI subscription has just been handed a junior consultant who never sleeps, never bills, and produces work that is, let's be honest, about 80% as good as the 28-year-old MBA you used to fly in from New York. That math doesn't work anymore. That model is over. Let me tell you exactly why the old consulting model is dying. It comes down to one thing. They were selling hours. That's it. That's the whole game. The entire pyramid, partners, senior managers, associates, analysts, it's all built on billable hours. The deliverable is a PDF. The timeline is 6 months. The invoice is a six-figure number with a lot of zeros. When the client gets the deck at the end, what do they actually have? They have a printout of recommendations, a binder of slides, a list of things somebody, not the consultant, has to go execute. The consulting industry has been selling implementation theater for 30 years. The work doesn't get done in the engagement. The work gets done by some poor operations VP at the client after the consultant leaves, if it gets done at all. Most McKinsey decks end up in a drawer. They always have. So the moment the client realizes they can get the same drawer deck from an AI for $100 a month, the math collapses. And it just did. Now here's what's replacing it. And this is the part everybody's missing. The new consulting model doesn't sell hours. It doesn't sell decks. It doesn't sell strategy. It sells systems, working systems, installed, running on the client's account on day one. Let me give you an example. Old model, McKinsey walks into a regional services company. They spend 4 months. They produce a 120-slide deck. They recommend that the company implement a customer retention strategy. The bill is $400,000. The deck sits in a drawer. New model, a sales pro who learned AI consulting walks into a regional plumbing company. They spend a Saturday. By Sunday night, the plumber has a voice AI answering missed calls at 9 p.m., an automated follow-up sequence running on every lead from the last 2 years, and an appointment booker that doesn't sleep. The bill is $5,000 a month on a retainer. The system is making the plumber money on Monday morning. Which one of those is the consultant? Both of them. But only one of them is going to have a job in 3 years. There's a phrase I've been hammering on for the last year. Stop selling hours, start selling systems. A system runs while you sleep. An hour does not. A system compounds. An hour expires. A system is a recurring asset that gets installed once and pays for years. An hour is a transaction. The entire reason a consultant could ever charge $5,000 an hour is because they had asymmetric knowledge. They knew something the client did not, and the client could not Google the answer fast enough. That asymmetry is gone. The client can Google it. The client can chat GPT it. The client can get a better answer than most consultants can give them for free in the parking lot. The only consultant who survives this, and I mean the only one, is the one who walks in and installs something. Not advises, not strategizes, installs. That is the entire reframe. And if you make it, the next 5 years are the best 5 years of your career. Let me make this stupidly concrete. I want you to picture two people walking into the same business, Person one is a 30-year veteran management consultant. Suit, slide deck, discovery, 6-week engagement, final presentation, $45,000 invoice. Client says thank you, files the deck, goes back to drowning. Person two is a former enterprise sales rep who took an 8-week AI consulting course. Laptop, 2-hour conversation with the owner. Comes back 3 days later with a voice AI agent already deployed on their phone number, a workflow already capturing inbound leads to their CRM, and a missed call recovery system that brought back 14 old quotes in the first weekend. Charges $3,500 a month on a 12-month agreement. Which of those two does the owner of a roofing company want to talk to in 2026? It's not even close. The first person feels expensive and theoretical. The second person feels like a partner who is making them money right now. The first person is McKinsey. The second person is the future. Now, here's the part that always trips people up. They hear AI consulting. They assume you have to be technical. You don't. In fact, the technical people are at a disadvantage. Here's why. A developer wants to build the perfect system. A salesperson wants to solve the customer's pain. Those are not the same thing. The owner of a 12-person dental practice doesn't care about the elegance of your architecture. He cares that his front desk stops missing calls. The bottleneck in this market is not technology. The technology is commodity. You can spin up a working voice agent in an afternoon using off-the-shelf tools. Anybody can do it. The bottleneck is the conversation. The bottleneck is sitting across from a 62-year-old HVAC owner who has been burned twice before by tech vendors and getting him to trust you enough to write the check. That conversation is a sales conversation. That is what you do. That is what you have been doing for 10 or 15 years. For some big corporate logo that just laid off your entire team, the skill transfers one for one. The offer changes, the buyer changes, the price point changes in your favor, by the way, because SMB margins on this are insane compared to corporate sales cycles. But the skill, the actual core capability of helping a human being trust you enough to say yes, that is the moat. And AI cannot do it. Not in 18 months, not in 5 years. The whole point of an SMB owner is that he wants to look another human in the eye before he signs. So here's where this leaves you. If you're a salesperson, you are sitting on the most valuable skill in the AI economy and you don't know it yet. If you're a consultant operating on the old model, you have about 12 to 24 months before the market closes on you, and the move is to pivot now while there's still runway. I run a free Skool community where we work through this every week. Real plays, real clients, real numbers. Link in the description if you want the full 8-week build, the offer, the pricing, the install playbook, the appointment flow. That's at aiprofitconsultant.com. Links down below too. Subscribe if you haven't. Because next week, I'm going to break down the exact first system I would install if I were starting from scratch this Monday, the highest leverage AI service to sell in 2026, and how to land the first client this week. McKinsey isn't coming back, but you don't need them to. You are what's replacing them. I'll see you in the next one.